Hey, what's up, everyone? I would love to share with you today the trades I made, or the trade I made, on my journey to 100K, where I try to take $1,000 to $100,000 as fast as possible via day trading. I'm relatively new to trading, day trading anyway, only a couple months in, and I just thought this would be a fun way to share my experiences and document my journey, and maybe connect with other people who are looking to do the same thing. We were green on Friday, which was day one of the challenge. Today is day two, and we are green today as well. However, today will be an example of how not to do it, which it kind of sucks to make a video about a bad decision that I made, but that's going to happen a lot along the ways. I mean, my win percentage since I started has been right around 70%, and so there's going to be either 30% of that's going to be just the way the market is, or some bad decisions that I make. And this one, luckily we were green, but I think it's going to be an example of what not to do. Some feedback from my core group of friends is that there's quite a bit going on this screen that people don't understand. And so each video I'll try to share something new, so that way over the course of 10, 20, 30 videos, you can piece together all of it and maybe have a really good understanding of a couple things. So with that said, we're going to lead off with one of the strategies that I am using during this challenge, and probably one of my favorite strategies that I learned from Warrior Trading, a guy by the name of Ross, who's one of the predominant traders in the industry. And so I pulled this image from his website, and I'm just going to kind of show you guys what this looks like real quick for those who don't know. So this is a micro pullback, and so let's assume that I received. This has got some positive news that came in on a scanner. So real quick, the scanner, I'll pull that over real fast here. This is one of I have a few scanners. We'll go over them eventually, but this is one of them. And this just simply alerts when something is running up. So it's ripping a little bit, or it's a top gainer. So it's up a certain percentage, like it's up a lot throughout the day. And then also, Ross from Warrior Trading has these 5 pillars, which you can go learn about on his website. But so part of this shows stocks that meet his criteria, which are can be good trades. So this actually, the stock that I traded, CMCT, was still on the scanner when I took this screenshot. So let's say we've received the news, we pull up the stock, and it's ripping. So it's going from here. Sorry. What is happening here? 1 second. There we go. What? Okay, yeah, there to there. And you have a couple options here. You can either get in early, like right in here, and ride that wave, or you can use a couple different strategies. Now, I will tell you, I have gotten in early and tried to ride the wave, and it's not something I'm great at. You get in there, and I don't really know what I'm doing, and you're hoping that it goes up really, really high, and then it drops down right away, and you get emotional. You don't get out. You don't have any stop losses set, and you lose money. Or you either get out. It can be a pain. And so, one of the strategies here, this micro pullback, is as this thing goes up, you're waiting for some kind of sign that shows stability, basically. That's kind of how I'm phrasing it. So you got these candles, whether it's 5 minute or 1 minute, doesn't matter. They're showing green, so there's a lot of buy volume. There's a lot of buying going on, and then here's the buy volume down here on the bottom. And then this starts to sell off. So we see these red candles start to come down in conjunction with sell volume that's actually lighter than the buy volume, and that's a critical piece to this, because if the these red candles could still be showing, but if the sell volume, the red bars down here, were much higher than the green, well, that would be pretty bearish, and you would just know it's not going to come back up. It's not going to fit the criteria really for what we're trying to do in this instance. But anyway. So it rides down this way, and then the green candle pops up and starts to climb. And as soon as this green candle breaks the high of this previous red candle, so basically right here, you buy. And no matter what. And really two things are probably going to happen here. It's not likely going to go sideways. It's either going to rip, what you see here, this candle that's shooting up this way, this green candle right here, or it's going to dive down. And if it dives down, you have to have a stop loss set. So either a stop loss that you've created, which is how I do it right now. I'm trying to make 10 cents, but only risk 5 cents. So my stop loss would be 5 cents less than my entry. But here in this strategy, at the very least, you'd want it at the bottom of this candle here, this pullback. So your stop loss would be somewhere in this range. So if this stock, decided to rip lower this way, you would get out at that stop loss right there. And then if it continued on, well, you could take it, like in my example, I could take the 10 cents profit, or I could use some other criteria to determine that I'm going to stay in it longer. And I'm still kind of learning what that is for me. But if it made 10 cents, I would probably just exit. So that is a micro pullback, and it provides a level of confidence when you go to invest. Now, there's also something to be said here, which we're going to use today for my trade today, is that the timing of this candle is important. So I'm going to show you a trade that I did today that I got in. It kind of did this. It didn't quite do this, but it I got in on the candle too late. So if you get in early and it has a chance to kind of rise up, but if you get in too late, then the next, whether it's a minute candle or 5 minute candle, the candle just resets, starts a new candle, and who knows what's going to happen at that point, which we'll see here today. So anyway, that is what a micro pullback is. We might reference that at some point in time here again, but so here's the trade I made today. This was on CMCT again. Hit my scanners this morning with some news, sorry, it didn't have news. It just hit the scanners. It just hit the scanners that had a lot of momentum. And we're going to highlight a couple of areas here. This section right here. Oops, 1 second. Let me do this. This section. Where are you? There you go. This section, and this section. So this morning, when I first got this alert, it was at, what time is it? 3:44. And this thing went up 20%, I think. Let's take a quick look. Here, I can't really see it because I am so new to this that I don't understand how the charts work, but that's okay. Here to here, up 21%. But the problem is this was before 4 a.m. I was unable to trade this on this platform called Thinkorswim, provided by Charles Schwab. I cannot trade a lot of stocks. This one I couldn't trade until 4 a.m. So it ripped up before 4 a.m. I was like, well, that's unfortunate. So let's take a look and see, we'll wait and see if it does something special. And it also, at about 4:17, it went up again. It went up 25% right here. And I didn't get in because I was locked in on a penny stock on my Webull account, which I shouldn't have been. I should have been entirely focused on. And that's the shift I'm making in this. The first video I talked about the 3 winning trades I made on all 3 of my accounts: the individual brokerage, the Roth account, my retirement account, and my Webull account. I'm going to probably just focus on the challenge account for now. Helps me kind of mentally stay in focus. So I missed this trade today because I was trading a penny stock that I made like $1 on. This doesn't really make any sense. And so I was getting a little bit impatient, and I wanted to make a move on this stock, but it was moving sideways. There was no opportunity for me to really get in here. But while I was looking at another stock, I saw this is where I bought. This candle is where I bought. These are 1 minute candles, by the way. I got an alert that it was climbing up, and I took a peek. I took a peek at my 10-second charts and my 1 minute charts and my 5 minutes, all my charts. And I'm like, oh, this thing has a chance to do what it did on those other 2 examples I gave you. I'm going to get in right now. I didn't wait for any really verification. I'm like, I'm just going to try to ride this wave. A couple of bad things here on this trade. First, it didn't rip. And so I bought in at this time 4:45 and 57 seconds, which is a really bad time for me to get in because the candle is 3 seconds away from starting a new candle. You have no idea what the next candle is going to do. Like, I have a general idea what the current candle is doing, and I'm looking at the buy and sell stuff. I'm looking at all my triggers. But I just bought 3 seconds before I entered the next candle. And it was because my eyes were on a 10-second chart and I wasn't putting two and two together. I've ended up buying in at the high. So it's 443. The high was like 446. So pretty much at the high. And then it just dips down. I'm like, well, great. However, because I've been doing this, a whole 2 months here, I had built this kind of resistance line, which you can see, this red line right here. And the stock wasn't really moving up and down a ton. It didn't have huge range. So I felt like I could stay in the stock longer than my stop loss, which ended up being the case, which worked out great. But typically I'd want to get out. So I got in at 443, and then as soon as this thing, like this candle here, closed at 436, this candle here closed at 429. By the way, I'm seeing that up here in this section at 429. At 429, we're already well below my 5-cent stop. But because I had drawn this red line in here, I was comfortable having it come down to that point. And it dropped a little bit below that, and then I saw this candle right here. You see, I'm gonna mark this candle right here. Well, Daddy is we're struggling here. Can I do a circle on top of there we go. This candle right here. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're learning something today. You guys bear with me because I don't want to restart this video. Sure. Okay. Now it's there. Why not? That is actually a bit of a bullish candle. So when you see some volume there at the top, I forget the name of this candle, but when you see a wick at the bottom and then the volume at the top, it can represent a little bit of a bullish candle. So technically speaking, this would have been a great time to buy. This would have been kind of like your bull flag, right in this range right here, which would have been pretty darn awesome. Right in this range would have been, we are struggling with these drawing tools. We'll figure it out over time. Would have been a good time to buy. So we'd have got in at like 429 and rode this wave up to 452, which would have been pretty sick because it would have been micro pullback kind of strategy, right? That we just talked about, where the stock is coming down and then there's this green green candle comes up past the high of the previous red candle and you buy. That would have been perfect. And you would have been in early. I would have been really early. But anyway, I was able to hold on and get out for a profit of $20. But I can safely say that this is a very good example of how not to trade. Because one of the things that I found through my metrics is that I am very bad at trading on the backside of moves. So this trade right here is both of these big trades here. Both of these are really good examples. So I'm gonna show you a couple things here. So I've got this. We'll talk about what these lines are later. But this gray line, orange line, blue line, and purple line. Basically, the front side of a move is when trades are happening on the top of those lines, and you can kind of see as this stock, right here, is going from here all the way up, this direction. That's on the front side of the move, considered to be the front side of the move. Now, anything that would be going the other direction, which this is a pretty good example, this direction right down on here and underneath these lines is the back side of the move. This one here is still on the top side of the move. Like it's still over those lines. It's not the front side of the move though. It's above all of these metrics, but it's trending downward. I do not do well when I am trading the backside of moves or trading anything flat, which is what this stock was doing here today. It was trading, when I went to trade this, it was flatlined. And I just got impatient. I thought I saw an opportunity. I got in. Luckily for me, this thing didn't just dive down like crazy, but it's a good example of like I wasn't disciplined enough. I wasn't patient enough, and I wasn't disciplined enough to get out at my stop because I should have been out right away. I should have got out. Actually, I could have made a profit right here at 4.48, 5 cents profit. That would have been pretty nice, actually, 5 cents a share. But I wasn't disciplined enough to get out when I dropped to my stop loss, and I need to make sure I'm getting out at my stop loss. So anyway, I'm very happy to share this with you guys. $20 profit, that puts us at $70 green on this account in 2 days off a $1,000 account. That's great. Now I expect we'll have some drawdown at some point in time where we'll take a loss here on this. Again, I'm sitting at about a 70-ish% win rate. I have to go back and look at my data. So we're going to have some losses here, and I should have probably lost today. I did actually take another trade today. Let's see if I can pull that up. This stock right here. We made a whopping $2.25 on this trade. I won't go through like all the details because I'm struggling with these tools right now. But I actually bought, this is another really good example of, and this is just kind of my theme today, unfortunately, right? I bought this stock right here, and I sold it right here. Now, when I bought the stock, I thought it was going to go a little higher, like more steps than it is right here. So I was getting in without any kind of real verification, and I got in at 202, which is kind of like not quite the top, but 3/4 of the way up. So it's just my theme of the day, whatever mindset I was in today. And then I decided that I was going to hold it because it wasn't dropping down very far, and there was a lot of liquidity on the stock, which means there's a lot of share volume over here for sale and buy and sell happening over here. I hear my kids behind me, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. But I decided I would hold through because this stock was in pre-market. It was definitely showing signs of having a chance to rip, and so I waited till the market opened. For the first 2 candles, it climbed, and I got out at 211, which was pretty much the top of this candle, which makes me very happy for a profit of 225. Anyway, those are the trades I made today. Sorry, this probably didn't flow the way that I wanted, but here we are, video number 2, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.